Every morning in the quiet hills of Okinawa, there's a woman named Haruko-san. She's 92 years old. At sunrise, she opens the sliding door of her wooden home, sweeps the front path with a bamboo broom, and smiles at the garden she's tended for decades. Her back is straight, her steps steady. Her life is simple and long. Japan continues to have the highest life expectancy in the world, with women living well into their 90s and beyond, not just alive, but thriving. As a doctor who's worked with older adults for over 30 years, I've seen firsthand how small daily habits can shape not just how long we live, but how well we live. Today, I want to share 12 gentle, powerful life habits from Japan that may quietly add years to your life without extreme diets or exhausting workouts. Just small, intentional changes. Before we begin, I'd be so grateful if you share this video with someone you care about, someone who might need a little hope or a simple idea to feel better each day. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Why this video matters. In the US, many people over 60 quietly face a slow loss of energy, mobility, and sleep. Over 80% live with at least one chronic condition, and far too many wake up feeling stiff, tired, or disconnected. As a doctor who's spent decades with older adults, I've seen how these struggles often lead to one big question: what can I do to feel better without more pills appointments or frustration? In Japan, the question is answered differently. Aging isn't feared, it's respected. I once visited a clinic in Kyoto where patients in their 80s didn't ask for stronger medicine. They asked how to keep walking to the market or caring for their garden. They weren't focused on just surviving, but living. What set them apart wasn't some secret. It was the small things, quiet daily habits repeated over a lifetime. Movements, meals, moments of peace, and science agrees. A 2018 Lancet study showed that consistent, gentle daily habits had more influence on long-term health than even genetics. That's a powerful message. This video isn't about fixing your body, it's about honoring it. These 12 Japanese habits are simple, calming, and human. You don't need to do all of them. Even one could be the start of something better. So let's begin by looking at how a quiet morning can lead to a stronger, longer life. Habits. 1-3. How the Japanese begin their mornings. In Japan, mornings are not rushed. They begin quietly with purpose. There's no frantic scrolling, no coffee gulped while standing, no news blaring from a TV. Instead, there's a gentle rhythm, one that honors the body as it transitions from rest to motion. As a doctor, I've come to believe that how we start the day shapes everything else: our energy, our mood, even our digestion and circulation. And in Japan, there are 3 simple morning habits that speak volumes. Habit 1. A warm glass of water. Before anything else, before tea, before breakfast, many older Japanese drink a glass of warm water. Not ice cold, not flavored. Just warm, gentle hydration. This small act helps wake up the digestive system, supports blood flow, and encourages regularity. Western medicine confirms this warm water in the morning can help stimulate peristalsis, the wave-like motion of the intestines. For older adults dealing with slow digestion or mild constipation, this is a gentle and effective support. It also kickstarts hydration after 7 or 8 hours of sleep, which many underestimate. Habit 2. Gentle morning movement, radio taiso. If you've ever been to a park in Japan at dawn, you've likely seen groups of people, often seniors, gathered to do light exercise in unison. This is radio taiso, a tradition since 1928. The movements are slow, rhythmic, and accessible to nearly everyone. Arm circles, side stretches, gentle bends. It takes less than 10 minutes, but wakes up the joints, warms the muscles, and gets the blood flowing. I often recommend a modified version of this to my patients. It's not about burning calories. It's about telling your body, we're awake now. Let's move through this day with ease. Habit 3. Letting the sun. In Japanese homes often have large sliding doors or windows facing the morning light. Opening them is a daily ritual, not just for fresh air, but for sunlight. Morning sunlight regulates the body's circadian rhythm. It helps reset the sleep-wake cycle, increases serotonin levels, and even improves vitamin D production over time. For older adults struggling with insomnia or low energy, just 10 minutes of morning light can make a real difference. There's also a quiet beauty in the act itself, sliding open the door, letting in the breeze, hearing the birds. It invites a sense of calm and connection with the world. A different kind of morning. In the West, we often wake with urgency. In Japan, many begin the day by listening to their body. Warm water, soft movement, sunlight. These are not treatments or hacks. They're habits of respect, and they set the tone for everything that follows. Habits 4, 6. The foods that keep them young. When we think of healthy eating, we often imagine restriction, cutting out sugar, lowering fat, counting every calorie. But in Japan, especially among older generations, food is approached differently. It's not about what you eliminate, but what you honor. Every meal is an opportunity to nourish the body gently with balance and beauty. Habit 4. Eating natto, fermented soybeans for bone and heart health. For many Westerners, natto can be a bit shocking at first. Its sticky texture and strong smell make it an acquired taste. But for older Japanese adults, it's a staple, especially at breakfast. Why natto is incredibly rich in vitamin K2, a nutrient that helps move calcium into the bones and out of the arteries. Several studies have linked regular natto consumption with reduced risk of heart disease and osteoporosis, two major concerns for older adults. And because it's fermented, natto also supports gut health by promoting healthy bacteria. Even if natto isn't to your taste, this habit teaches something important. The Japanese don't fear fermented foods. They embrace them daily. Habit 5. A bowl of miso. Soup, daily probiotic and immune support. Unlike heavy Western breakfasts, many older Japanese begin the day with a light bowl of miso soup. Made from fermented soy paste, miso is full of probiotics that help balance the gut, support immunity, and aid digestion, especially important as we age. The soup often includes seaweed, rich in iodine and minerals, tofu, a clean plant protein, and green onions, a gentle digestive. It's warm, calming, and deeply nourishing. In Japan, miso isn't seen as an occasional dish, it's a foundation. Many families have miso soup at least once a day, partly because it's comforting, but also because it quietly supports long-term health. Habit 6. Eating with the seasons and making it beautiful. One of the most overlooked habits in Japanese culture is seasonal, intentional eating. Older generations take great care to choose vegetables and fruits that are of the season, often grown locally. This ensures the food is fresher, higher in nutrients, and more in harmony with the body's needs. But it doesn't stop there. Meals are often served in small portions on individual plates, with attention to color, shape, and arrangement. Eating becomes an experience of gratitude, not just function. There's a concept in Japanese culture called shokuiku, meaning food education. It's not just about nutrition, it's about learning how to respect food, your body, and the act of eating itself. That mindset stays with people well into old age. A quiet medicine. 3 times a day. These food habits aren't strict. They're not part of some fad diet. Instead, they're acts of quiet self-care repeated gently, day after day, year after year. And when I speak with my older Japanese patients, they rarely talk about calories or carbs. They talk about how food makes them feel lighter, warmer, more at ease. Habits. 7. 9. Natural movement built into the day. In the West, we often treat movement as a chore, something we set aside time for at the gym, something that requires gear schedules and motivation. But in Japan, especially among the older generation, movement is woven into the fabric of daily life. It's natural, constant, and often invisible to outsiders. These habits don't require a treadmill or weights, just a body and the will to keep moving gently, consistently. Habit 7. Sitting on the floor. Many older Japanese still eat, relax, and socialize on the floor. Traditional tatami rooms and low dining tables encourage this. And while it might seem uncomfortable at first, this habit helps maintain flexibility in the hips, knees, and lower back. Getting up and down from the floor naturally strengthens the legs and core. Studies have shown that the ability to sit down on the floor and rise without support is linked to greater longevity and lower fall risk. For my patients in their 70s and 80s, even modifying this movement, practicing seated to standing exercises from a low chair, has shown clear benefits in balance and confidence. Habit 8. Frequent standing and movement at home. In Japanese, home space is compact and multifunctional. This leads to more frequent movement, getting up to pour tea, kneeling to fold laundry, squatting to grab something from a low shelf. There's no need for a step counter or fitness app. Movement happens naturally as part of living. It's subtle, but it adds up, keeping joints lubricated, muscles engaged, and circulation flowing. I remember visiting a 78-year-old woman in Osaka. She told me she hadn't exercised in decades, but I watched her move from task to task with grace and strength. That's what these habits do. They preserve your ability to live independently. Habit 9. Walking after meals. The Shanpo tradition. In some Japanese communities, there's a gentle tradition of taking a short walk after meals. It's not brisk or intense, just a quiet stroll, often with a spouse, a friend, or even alone. This practice, sometimes called Shanpo, supports digestion, lowers blood sugar spikes, and gives the mind time to unwind. It's especially helpful after dinner, preparing the body for restful sleep. In Western medicine, we now recommend post-meal walks as a way to manage glucose and improve metabolic health. But in Japan, it's simply part of life, unrushed, habitual, and deeply soothing. Movement without pressure. These habits remind us that movement doesn't need to be hard to be effective. For older adults, especially those with joint pain or fatigue, the idea of working out can feel overwhelming. But gentle, purposeful movement done often can preserve strength, prevent decline, and uplift the spirit. It's not about burning calories. It's about keeping the body in motion like a well-tended garden. Habits. 10. 12. A calm mind and a quiet heart. Longevity isn't just about strong bones or a steady heart. It's also about peace, the kind that lives quietly in the mind and settles gently in the body. In Japan, when you meet older adults, you often feel something unspoken, a calm presence, a grounded spirit. They don't rush. They don't ruminate. They carry age like a soft robe, worn but full of stories and grace. The final 3 habits we explore today are not about movement or meals. They're about being, about stillness, attention, and how you relate to time, to others, and to yourself. And in my experience as a physician, these are the habits that often touch the heart most deeply. Habit 10. Working with the hands. Creating calm through craft. In many Japanese households, especially among older generations, the hands are never idle, but they are never hurried. You might find someone slowly tending bonsai trees, carefully arranging ikebana flowers, or folding origami at the kitchen table. These small acts of handwork serve a larger purpose. They engage the brain, protect dexterity, and preserve memory. But more importantly, they create rhythm and focus. They give the mind something peaceful to hold on to. I remember a patient in her late 80s who had mild cognitive decline, but every morning she folded one paper crane with complete clarity. "It keeps me quiet inside," she told me. That ritual, gentle focus, tactile, anchored her in a way no medication ever could. Even in Western contexts, activities like knitting, gardening, or journaling offer similar benefits. They don't need to be perfect. They just need to be yours. Habit 11. Tea and listening, the art of connection without words. In Japan, tea is more than a drink. It is a moment, a presence, a shared silence. Many older Japanese adults regularly host small, quiet tea gatherings, not elaborate ceremonies, but simple invitations: "Come sit with me, share this warmth." There may be a few words or none at all, but the connection is real. This kind of social ritual has real health benefits. Loneliness, especially in older adults, is now recognized as a serious risk factor linked to depression, heart disease, and cognitive decline. But connection doesn't have to mean conversation. Sometimes a warm cup, passed with care, and the soft presence of another human being can soothe what words never could. In the West, we often focus on social activity as something loud or structured. But what if it could be as quiet as tea shared on a porch, no agenda, no pressure, just two people being present? Habit 12. Ending the day with stillness, a ritual of letting go. How we end the day matters. In Japan, many older adults treat the final hour before bed as sacred. Screens are turned off. Lights are softened. The home becomes a place of quiet again. Some may sit in silence. Others write a short reflection in a journal. Some simply listen to the sounds outside: a breeze, a neighbor's footsteps, a distant train. This simple ritual tells the nervous system, it's safe now, you can rest. And from a medical standpoint, it works. Studies show that reducing stimulation before bed improves sleep quality, lowers nighttime cortisol levels, and even helps regulate blood pressure. Contrast that with the Western habit of falling asleep to television doom-scrolling news or lying in bed worrying. That's not rest, that's overload. What I love most about this habit is how accessible it is. You don't need anything fancy. Just a willingness to pause, to soften the edges of the day, and to let your body settle. Peace is a practice, not a perk. These three habits, working with the hands, sharing quiet connection, and ending the day in stillness, are not luxuries. They are necessities. Anchors that hold the self steady, especially as we grow older. In Japan, aging is not a frantic race against time. It is a return to rhythm, to simplicity, to essence. Longevity is not just measured in years. It's measured in moments of calm, in the depth of your breath, in the softness of your evenings, in the quiet joy of folding a paper crane one careful corner at a time. And these practices, as gentle as they are, might just be the most powerful of all. Real-life story. 1 patient. 5 habits. 6 months of change. Her name was Carol. 74 years old, recently widowed and struggling. When she came to see me, she was dealing with insomnia, fatigue, and frequent digestive issues. "I just feel old," she said softly, "and tired of feeling tired." Carol didn't want more medications. What she wanted was to feel like herself again, or at least a version of herself she could live with. So we began gently. I shared with her 5 of the habits you've heard today. Drinking warm water in the morning, doing light movement inspired by Radio Taiso, eating a small bowl of miso soup with lunch, taking a short walk after dinner, ending the day in quiet. No phone, no TV, just 10 minutes of stillness. At first, she was skeptical, but she agreed to try not all at once, just 1 habit per week. By month 2, she was sleeping through the night more often. By month 4, her digestion had improved. And by month 6, she told me something that stayed with me. I don't feel young, but I feel steady, and that's enough. Carol didn't move to Japan. She didn't overhaul her life. She just made space to care for her body and mind a little differently. And that's what I want to leave you with. You don't need to do all 12 habits. You don't need to be perfect. But if even one of them speaks to you, start there. You might be surprised by what shifts. A doctor's advice. Start small. Stay gentle. If there's one thing I've learned after working with older adults for over 3 decades, it's this. The body listens best when we speak to it gently. Too often we're told that change must be big, immediate, or difficult to matter. But in truth, lasting change, especially after 60, begins with consistency, not intensity. When patients ask me where to start, I always say the same thing. Choose one habit that feels kind to you. It might be a glass of warm water in the morning. It might be sitting by a window and letting the sun touch your face, or taking a quiet walk after dinner. You don't need to do all 12. You just need one place to begin. Because here's the secret: when something feels good, you'll naturally want to do it again. And that's how health grows, not from pressure, but from peace. In Japan, aging isn't framed as a problem to solve. It's seen as a season of life to be respected. There's no shame in slowing down, no failure in resting, no guilt in needing support. That mindset alone can be healing. So as you think about these Japanese habits, I invite you to reflect, not on what you should be doing, but on what your body is asking for. Is it more quiet? More movement, more color on your plate, more sunlight? Whatever it is, let it begin small. Let it feel human. And remember, your health journey doesn't need to look like anyone else's. You don't need to live in Japan to age with grace. You simply need the willingness to care for yourself like someone you love. That is enough. That is powerful. That is how years are added, not just to your life, but to your days. So here we are. 12 habits. Rooted in Japanese tradition. Grounded in science. Gentle enough for any season of life. You don't need to rush. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin quietly, patiently, kindly. Like the elders of Okinawa, who tend to their gardens, their meals, and their mornings with care, not urgency. If one habit from this video spoke to your heart, I hope you'll try it this week. See how your body responds. See how your mind feels. And maybe you'll begin to notice something shift. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which habit are you most curious to try first? Your answer might inspire someone else who's watching this too. And if you found this video meaningful, please consider sharing it with a loved one. Sometimes the smallest ideas can offer the greatest comfort. Please remember, health-related information on YouTube isn't a substitute for personalized medical advice. If you have concerns about your health, speak with your doctor. And if you think you're experiencing a medical emergency, call your local emergency services immediately. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'll see you again gently next time.